Hi Shaberi, are you there?
Just give me a moment. I don't know. There's something else that is being shared on a watch party. Uh, so there's a link that I copied,
Mm-hmm.
and now I go to watch party and press OK. And then where do I find your videos?
You have to type in the search bar @
Okay.
life coach Shweta.
Acha. Okay. At the rate live. SWETA, right?
SWETA, yes.
Yes. So there is a last video in conversation with. Do drop your queries. There's a last video that I can see.
Okay. I also can't see this current video. I don't know why. Let's just start, and I think in 2 minutes it will
Okay.
start showing on the
Sure,
page.
sure, 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 sure.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Hello, good evening, and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Chit Chat with Shweta. Today we have someone with us who is a very esteemed and an established singer. She started her career way back in 2006 by participating in Indian Idol, then moved on to Saregama Pa, and then Chak De India, and many more. She has lent her voice to Tollywood, Bengali songs, and she got a big breakthrough in 2018 when she sang for Saheb Bibi or Gangster 3 and lent her melodious voice. She's none other than Shaberi Bhattacharya from Calcutta, but now in Mumbai. So, welcome Shaberi to our show. I'm so glad and privileged to have you with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It is entirely my pleasure to get associated with you. Thank you very much.
So, Sabi, to begin our conversation, first I want to know that because I know that you come from a academic background. Your mom is a teacher in a very renowned school in Calcutta. So, how did this happen? Coming from a Bengali academic background and you entering the industry. So, how did this journey take place?
So I would first say that it's been such an incredible journey, because I had no clue since my childhood that I'd end up landing being a professional singer, taking it up as a profession. Although my family is extremely musically inclined, everyone in my family is extremely culturally rich. That's how I think you would be familiar. That's how the Bengali usually that's the Bengali culture of being so enriched with, entertainment business. So that way, I was always encouraged since my childhood to learn music. In fact, the first gift that I received on my 5th birthday was a harmonium, which was gifted to me by my grandmother. And ever since then, I started learning music, and I started training in classical music, and after I think 2006 was the first time when I had auditioned for this music reality show called Indian Idol, and I got selected in that show as a top 30 participant. And post that, they had sent us back to our respective hometowns so that we can do our preps, because then the final rounds would be after a month. So that was the time, that 1 month when I really got encouraged by both my parents and my grandmother that you can, if you want, you can always go to Mumbai and pursue music, but you have to complete your studies. So that was a precondition for me to let my foot forward in a completely different arena of career. So I completed my studies, And then finally in 2007, I landed up in Bombay. And from here, again, I auditioned for another reality show called Saregama. So there also I was one of the top contestants, and ever since then, I think 2007 onwards, I started also, and I also entered into the whole stage show business. So stage show had now, post Saregamapa, had become, a part of my profession. And while I was already doing stage shows, I again appeared for another reality show in 2008, which was called Chakti. And that was a little different, unique kind of a reality show, because there the contestants had to sing and dance together.
Right.
So this is one, trivia about me, that I am as passionate about dancing as I am of singing. So I have
Right.
always been a part of, dancing, singing since my childhood, and I would participate in, so many Durga Puja shows and Durga Puja, dance dramas and all of that together. So yeah, I think, post 2007 was that shift in my whole career. And ever since then, I've been in Bombay. It's been almost about, say, about uh, 14 years that I'm here. And of course, this is now my workplace. And yeah, so this is how things are with me right now.
You know, now that you mentioned that you have been there for 14 long years, so I'm sure you have seen the industry very closely. It's been a long time period, and there's a lot of talk about, being an insider and an outsider in the industry. So have you ever felt that, or, have you ever experienced that closely? Because as I see, you don't have a background in the industry, right? You made it all on yours by yourself. So did you ever feel that or get that feeling of being an outsider, and were you treated differently?
So, this whole outsider concept was always there. I think it was there since the inception of any of this whole movie industry, and I think any industry for that matter. But of course, movie industry is out in the open, so it's always under the public radar. So that way, it was always there. It has become talked about very recently, because people are becoming aware, and people are really uh, knowing about their rights, and that's why they are talking about being insiders and outsiders. Like I would say that being a being from a film fraternity or belonging to a film family is definitely easier than not having any sort of a lineage. Um, but at the same time, um, I truly believe that if you're really, really talented, if you're working on your skills, and if you're not giving up, if you're continuously having that spirit to persevere, of course, you need good fortune, what in colloquial terms we call luck, but that's not all. That is a very considerable portion of it. But when both of them, come together, good fortune as well as hard work and effort, then it might take time, but it cannot be that you're not getting your due. And also another very important thing which I've realized in the recent past is that uh, if I am doing an activity, or if I have taken up a career with a strong sense of purpose attached to it, then I will not run behind fame or money or recognition, because then that's like an endless chase. People have their own parameters of it. They have their own bar of it. There is no ultimate level that we can reach to and say that, oh, I've reached this and this level. Because the more you want to sort of harness your own talent, the more you want to get deep into it, the more you want to get deep into public forum, there is no end to it. So I think that if you are not really focusing on this outsider, or something which is tougher than the other side, if you're not focusing on that, and if you're truly, truly, really following just your passion and attaching a purpose to it, then things become much more easier to handle, I would say. Yeah.
No, you very correctly mentioned that if you put in that hard work, sooner or later you will get your dues.
Yeah.
But for some people, that time gap is way too large, right? And it is not easy for everyone to sustain that period. That's where people tend to give up. So how do you think that people can balance it, or how can they keep themselves rooted in those times and moments? Because at times that putting in the effort and getting your due, that can be a huge gap. So how does one maintain their sanity or their mental peace at that point of time?
Yeah, yeah. One thing, is what there is no such ground rule for it, because every person's, I think, life is so unique and everyone's journey is very unique. So I cannot say this is the path that I have been following, so if you also follow this path, you will get the same kind of result as I have gotten. So there is a difference, and it's very essential to understand that if I have been able to get something in 5 days, it's not necessary that you will also be able to get it in 5 days. You can get it in 2 days, or maybe you will get in 25 days. So that difference, and really respecting the fact that my journey is unique, and I'll not give up on it, I'll continuously go ahead with it. I think it is a lot of help to it does give a lot of help to think in this way. So perspective, how you are thinking about something, that's very important. If you're only following what people are saying, and if you're only following conventional norms, then we fall in a trap, because not everybody's life is the same. So we say this is like this because 10 people have followed this path. So you also follow this path. But not necessarily that if I follow this path, I'll have the same end result, because my life is different. So it's very essential to have that whole perspective about, about what are my action points? What do I really need to work on? So if I'm a singer, I need to really develop my skills.
Right.
That is more important. The other thing we chase behind is make ऐसे अपना PR strong करूं. My PR should work. That becomes a focal point of everything. That my PR should work, and I should meet a lot of people, and I should go to parties and all. Everything is a part and parcel. I'm not discarding any of these. They are essentials. But focus shifts from polishing your skills to the external, to the external things which seem easy to get. So something which is hard to follow and hard to pursue, like polishing your skills into any activity that you do, that you sort of after a while want to part with, and you want to sort of latch onto something which is easier.
Right.
So that's why shortcuts happen, and shortcuts are so short-lived.
Very
So
true.
whenever there is, yeah, so whenever there is something which you're persevering for a long time, the whole journey might seem so taxing, so draining. But when you are really grounded and you know the purpose behind what you're doing, then I think you find a easy way to sail
True.
smoothly and move forward. Yeah,
You said
yeah.
a very, very beautiful thing that, shortcuts are so short-lived. It will be a major, takeaway for me. This thing will stay with me for a very long time. But, when as a layman, we talk about industry, be it in any domain, whether you are a singer or the actor, director, we just, see the glamour part of it, the fame part. But definitely there's a lot of hard work, a lot of each one has their own journey in that. What has been your biggest learning, being in the industry for a substantial amount of time? What has been your biggest learning in these 10 14 years that you have been here in the industry?
uh, it's difficult to put it in just one learning. There has been numerous learnings, but one dominant learning, if I have to just summarize, has been the fact that, like as I was talking about, patience and perseverance. So the root and the key to any journey for that matter is how much you're willing to just be behind it, just keep on sort of following it unless and until uh, once again, the destination or the goal should not be the aim. The aim should be the journey, you know. So the how you're progressing each day. And not only, I truly believe that it's not only about just your skill at what you are doing. So, for example, if I'm a singer, it's not only about how deeply I'm polishing my skills. It is also about how deeply am I polishing my own life, because that would guide me. That's a guiding factor. So when my life is guiding me, then I will know that हाँ मुझे hard work करनी है. अगर मैं सिर्फ वो कर रही हूँ, then there are many other aspects that are lost, that I'm not looking into. I'm brushing it under the carpet. That will come out after a while. So patience and perseverance, I would say, is a huge, huge, huge learning for me in the last in so many years. Yeah.
You now that you have mentioned about patience and perseverance, so it in a way reflects the mental attitude, right? Because not everyone has that kind of patience or that kind of perseverance. And right now, it has always been a very important topic, but right now, considering the situations we all are in, the changes we all are dealing with, mental health has become even more talked about and even more important to address. What's your take on it?
My take
On this whole thing about mental health, is it
yeah.
just that it's being hyped too much, or is it something we really need to look into? How do you look at it?
It is, I think, it's a fundamental. Mental health is fundamental. Uh, that is what is driving us, the mind. So if the mind is not in place, then everything is disoriented. So what has been happening so far is, once again, like I was sharing with you in the beginning, is that it's the awareness which was lacking for so many years. And now, because people are talking about it, and it has become sort of like an object of much needed attention at this point in time, especially the youth who are undergoing it, who are so uh, disoriented because of the mental health. That's why people are talking about it so much. And I think the whole concept and the whole idea about taking care of mental health is much better than it used to be, maybe even just 1 or 2 years before. Now people are really talking about it, because pehle it's like depression ho raha hai, so matlab I'm sad. But then later we've come to realize that even if everything is going fine, then also you can have depression. So I have been a part of it. Like, I know how it is, because I've gone through it. So that's why I know that even when everything is fine and you are still feeling low on your energy and low on your life condition, life state, then that's something to be really delved into. That's something to be looked upon. That cannot be just overlooked. It's like how I can't overlook when I'm having high fever and I need medicines. It's exactly like that. So it cannot be overlooked. So if I leave it to theek ho jayega apne aap, then it doesn't come out, and a lot of other things also happen if I'm not looking into my fever. Exactly like that, I think. And it is absolutely just fascinating. It's absolutely so rewarding that people like you, who are dealing into such a sensitive, yet such a matter of colossal importance, mental health, which you are dealing with. It is really, really commendable. Please do as much as you can, and please make the youth aware of how important mental health is.
Right. No, but when it comes to awareness, like you told that you have been through it, so you know how it feels, but it takes a lot of courage to, come out and talk about it because, like, one celebrity talks about it, it becomes a huge thing, right? Because there's still so much of stigma attached to it. And especially in our country, people are not yet too open about talking and accepting it because mental health is somewhere, people always try to brush it under the carpets. So how does one, work around that stigma? Like, how has been your experience? So when you talked about it, when people around you came to know about, were they supportive? Or, what kind of reactions did you have? How has been your experience?
So I would not say that I talked about it a lot. I did not really talk about it a lot. I tackled it my way. I do my, I follow a particular philosophy which has really helped me to come out of it. Uh, but I think it's essential. So, like I'm sharing with you right now, I exactly do that with my friends. That
Right.
this is what even I have gone through, and please address it. It's necessary to address it with a professional,
Exactly.
no matter what you are doing else. So many other things, people do meditation, people follow so many other things, but these things have to be handled under professionals, because there are certain things which we as lay people will not know how to handle. So it is essential to make it a point and not just leave it so for a time they ye kar le,
Ah,
diversion, all that.
right.
So I think people are speaking about it now and things will get better.
And
Yeah.
I feel here more than addressing, that is definitely important. But the first step is acceptance. Most of the people, they themselves do not want to accept it that, okay, it is something which needs to be addressed.
True.
I
True.
have come across, so many people that it takes a lot of time for them to come to the stage where they can accept it, okay, that this is something which I need to address. And that's the next step that they need to take, that, maybe go to a professional for a help or talk it out with their family and the friends. So the first thing is, having the awareness, then the acceptance, and then definitely addressing it. And instead of just leaving it on time or things will get okay by itself, it does not really happen that way.
Yeah, you're very right. And I think a prime role is played by close people in it, because
Right.
sometimes maybe I am not being even able to point out also that this is something unusual that is going on with me. So here, the role of the close ones and family, friends, whoever it is a crucial. How much are they supporting? How much are
Right.
they encouraging? That really, really stands as a like a strong pillar with that person. So yeah, I think like that, like how people are coming out and talking about it, like that, not only on platforms but on life to life connections, one on one, if we can speak about it, even if it's not captured anywhere, or I'm not coming online, or I'm not speaking in the podium or platform, out of humanity, this is very essential to speak. ऐसे ही फ्रेंडशिप में जरूरी नहीं है कि किसी को डिप्रेशन में होना पड़ेगा to talk about it, isn't it? So it's like any time depression might happen. Things have become like that. Things are really, really becoming so alarming outside that anybody can delve into that anytime. So it's better to always keep them aware of it. Yeah. So I feel that way.
How do you keep yourself rooted, because it's not easy. Everyone is so tied up, so busy, and so many things are happening around us. But what do you particularly do to keep yourself rooted and grounded, and to maintain that focus and perspective? Because it's very easy to get disoriented with so much of happening. So what do you do?
Yeah. So it's not, honestly speaking, it's not that I haven't slipped. I have slipped here and there and everywhere. And all those have helped me. Because I have gone
Right.
through all of that, it has strengthened my, inner core. And now also, if I again slip, I'll again strengthen my core. So each of those incidents that are happening with me are actually giving me a proper, clear perspective. So the tougher it is, I always tell this to everybody whom I speak to, the tougher it is, the better it is. They are like stepping stones for
Right.
for being happy. It's not only about just being successful, it's essential to be happy. So these
Right.
are stepping stones that I have slipped so many times, and I have worked harder on myself. I did not give up. But having said that, Shweta, not everybody has this kind of grit, is my
Right.
point. Not everybody can tackle situations like that. So as human beings, we need to be very sensitive about how we are speaking to somebody. In what so suppose, both of us are chatting and your mood is very low and I crack some joke on you and you're not able to take it. I would say it's not my problem because I didn't mean it that way. But I have to be sensitive to be able to understand that should I, or should I not? So that effort human beings need to give. So when human beings start giving these efforts, these humanistic efforts, then lot of things will become easier. We don't think that much. We think चलता है, कुछ
Ah,
भी बोलो चलता है, कुछ भी जोक क्रैक करो, लेग पुल, अरे दोस्ती तो है हम लोग, लेग पुल हो रही है, इतना क्यों सीरियसली ले रही है? But
right.
I can't say what sensitivity level the other person is coming from. I don't know. Maybe she's not sharing with me. She's undergoing something. So I have to be really sensitive about all these things.
Very true. We often miss out on, thinking how the other person might be, what kind of state of mind the person is, and it might be taken otherwise as well. So we have to be very careful about it. But
Exactly.
when you talked about slipping and taking those as stepping stones, I also firmly believe that, every failure, it's not actually a failure. It's a learning lesson for us. And it's not that you have failed, it's just one of the events which did not happen the way you wanted it to happen. So if that's the kind of attitude we can develop, I think, every event or every circumstances in our life becomes a learning lesson for us, and we do not get attached to the outcome. Because I honestly believe that getting attached to the outcome is what ultimately leads to disappointment. It should be more about your journey rather than just focusing on the outcome. And this is where, people just focus on what the ultimate outcome they are looking at. And when they do not get it, that's where disappointment sets in. And this whole vicious circles, comes into picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I, honestly believe that it's okay. Failures are nothing but just an event in our life which should be taken as learning lessons. And each one of us go through our own journey, right? In the beginning, you had talked about, it's on a lighter side that you talked about being on stage as well, right? You performing a
Yeah.
lot on stage and traveling across the world with different artists. What do you enjoy more, being on stage or, being in the studios and recording? What is your preference? Part do you enjoy the most?
So I have to also elaborate this answer a bit because otherwise it will be easier for you to understand my reply. So the thing is
Right.
that this has also been a major transformation. I've always been a very shy, underconfident, protective kind of a girl. Always, all through my parents always used to tell me that, come out of your closet, come out of your this whole cocoon that you have, just come out, all of that. And I have taken a long, long time. But once I could break through it, I have actually, it's like 360 degrees transformation. And it has been, an introvert to not less introvert. It's been introvert to extrovert. So I talk a lot now. And I love people. So I love interacting with people. I love talking to people. I love knowing people. So definitely when it comes to live performances, I thoroughly enjoy it because what encourages me the most is their response to me on stage. And trust me, that's not easy, because audience, they are your they are your true assessors. They can assess you, truly. So when you get the response from them, that's when you know that um, they're liking you, or they are going alongside however you're performing. You're there with you on it. So when you're seeing that, you get this special kind of a high when they hoot, when they whistle, when they clap, when they dance. So all of that combined gives you so much of an impetus, a momentum to your performance. So definitely I prefer live. But singing behind the mic in a studio is a different ball game altogether. So that's where comes your real talent. That's the place where the reality comes out, because that's the mic. Those mics that we sing behind, they will trap the even the minutest of places which you where you tend to go off. They would trap it. And when you hear it continuously, that you're going wrong and that sur nahi lag raha hai, then you feel, oh, I really need to work on it much more. So singing behind the mic is an experience which is much more revered, I would say. It's much more solemn, it's much more serious, because that's where you're doing serious business. Not that I'm undermining stage in any way, but those are the two aspects of it. I like both, but a little bit more I like being around people. Yeah.
I can so relate to what you said. I have been an introvert all my life, and now I'm at a stage of life where I just love talking to people. And the show is, one of the reasons that it has started. That because I want to interact with people and talk to them and get their perspective. But this can have negative impact as well, in the sense, when I was growing up, I always grew up hearing from people around me that what's wrong with you? Why can't you talk? Why don't you talk to people? Or why are you not participating in conversation? And that's where, again, this whole thing about being sensitive, everyone has their own way and temperaments of dealing with things. I still enjoy, my solitude and my time and my thing. I can be completely silent with a group of people also. That's how I am. And where I need to talk, I will go out of my way and talk. But then again, it can have a very negative impact on you if people around you. At least that's what has been my experience. And it took a lot of time for me to get over it. Because I started relating being introvert as a very negative thing. It's
Mm,
much later that I understood that it's okay. It's just either you are an introvert or you are an extrovert or you are a combination of both. So there's nothing right or wrong in it. It's just that how you are as a person.
so true. So true. Yeah. Very
So,
correct, you said. Yeah, that's true.
that's where I think, how people around you are dealing with it, or, those small comments also. And especially when we are in those growing up ages, that impressionable age, it can leave a very deep impact and a mark on us.
Totally. And most of the time, this happens that in the formative period, what are you hearing from people, especially closed ones? How are they bringing you up? What are they telling you? All these things go in the subconscious, and then that comes out when if you've reached adulthood and you're leading a completely independent life by yourself. But your personality is formed in such a way that you always feel, I'm not good enough. I am this, I am that, I'm not good enough. And to break through that shackle needs a lot of, needs a concrete belief system. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very rarely we come across people like you who have such clear perspective about life, focus, and such positive approach and attitude, I must say. Because mostly when we meet people or talk to people, they are either cribbing or complaining about things. So, it's so refreshing, and it's so nice to talk to someone with such positive outlook and approach. So, how did you were always like this, or you developed it over a period of time? How did that happen?
I used to be totally grumpy, very grumpy and always frowning all the time. So my dad used to tell me that why don't you smile? What is this? since a very since a very later age, he used to tell me that why don't you smile? And I have had this feedback from people that you you seem unapproachable, and all those used to make me, honestly, I am sharing all this with you because you are such a compassionate host tonight, this evening, that I want to share, so honestly, that I used to take all this on my stride, thinking that this is my personality type, and it used to make me feel so proud that, oh, I'm unapproachable. So, no nonsense. Nobody will approach me. So all this used to go in my system. But there has been a very, very deep shift, as I've been talking about, because of the philosophy that I follow, and uh, because of that, the shift that has happened has truly opened me up. It's just opened. That's all it has done to me. So this aspect is there in every human being. They just need to tap it. It's there. It's not that कि सिर्फ मेरे अंदर है वो जो खुला है. वो everybody has that. One needs to just tap it and they'll open up. So when you open up, when you are so content, when you are happy about however things are, and when you are happy about the fact that you have not, uh, when you have not stagnated and you're moving ahead in life, then you automatically have this whole joyful demeanor, the whole joyful conduct that you can very truly, truly exude and truly portray. So that's why, I don't feel that whatever I am, however I am, I don't pretend, Shweta,
Right.
however I'm feeling. So sometimes if I'm feeling upset, sometimes I'm feeling low. So there is no pretense. If I'm pretending, then I'm really cheating myself. It's just stopping my growth. So fundamentally, I think the best way to live is the most unpretentious way to live. Being true to yourself. Just be true to yourself. That helps a lot. That doesn't put an added pressure on you. कि मुझे ऐसा होना है. किसने बोला है? Who is this person who has asked you to be like this one, and who is this one that you want to be like? You're unique. You have a unique journey. You have your own destiny. You can change it. So just moving ahead with that sort of a very forthright, relentless attitude, which has a purpose, to drive your entire life with, I think there's no stopping. Nobody can defeat you.
This itself, that just being true to yourself speaks volume. If we are just true to ourselves, I think we'll just go places, and things will fall in place no matter what. Now, before we wind up, one last quick thing, if you have anything to say to the audience, you have already added so much of value to them. I'm sure that, they'll have so much to learn and imbibe in their lives. So before we wind up, any last quick thing for them?
So firstly, thank you for watching this live, and thank you for being there from the start till now. So I think that aspect is really, really encouraging. Of course, I'm not being able to see each one of you, but I'm definitely able to feel that there is a bond that is being formed right now, because I'm speaking, I'm just giving it out, and it's being received, and I can feel that it's being received well. So I think the only thing that I always keep sharing with people is that let's create life to life bonds. Let's respect each other. It's very tough, very, very tough. I slipped so many times to respect, because बिलीव ही नहीं होती है कि यूनिक है. एप्पल और मैंगो सेम नहीं होता है. सो मुझे मैंगो में बहुत ज्यादा खामियां दिखाई देती है, वो बिलीव ही नहीं होता है. बट आई एम ट्रूली वर्किंग ऑन माई सेल्फ. So if each one of us, really work on ourselves to believe that each one of us are unique, and each one of us have their own true potential, then I think, respect will be established solidly, and a lot of things will. I think the entire universe will change if people start respecting each other. There is respect for each other. So
That's such a
yeah,
beautiful thought. And we cannot let you go before you sing a song for
of
us.
course, of course.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and so one song for our audience and for us, we would love to hear you.
Sure, sure. हवा के झोंके आज मौसमों से रूठ गए, गुलों की शोखियां जो भंवर आके लूट गए. बदल रही है आज जिंदगी की चाल जरा, इसी बहाने क्यों न मैं भी दिल का हाल जरा सवार लूं, सवार लूं, सवार लूं, सवार लूं. हवा के झोंके आज मौसमों से रूठ गए, गुलों की शोखियां जो भंवर आके लूट गए. बदल रही है आज जिंदगी की चाल जरा, किसी बहाने क्यों न मैं भी दिल की हाल जरा सवार लूं, सवार लूं, सवार लूं, सवार लूं. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I must say, you have a really, really melodious voice. Thank you so much for singing for us and, transporting us to a different world altogether. Thank you
I
so
must
much.
take 1 minute extra to thank you for your initiative, not only to involve me and making me a part of this, session, but of the overall initiative that you have taken up of guiding people, of really putting them in the same, in a very correct, definitive path that you have chosen. That's a selfless endeavor. So thank you very, very much for doing that.
Completely my pleasure, and thank you for being here, for agreeing like instantly to be on the show.
My
And
pleasure.
you know
Entirely.
I have enjoyed the most talking to you. You have been such a nice and a cool guest, I must say, and with such positive vibes, and your vibration says it all. So thank you for coming here, talking to us, talking to the audience, and spreading so much of positivity around.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much. Thank you. See you soon.
Absolutely. Okay, just